The Ghost Crusaders are a loyalist space marine chapter of an unknown founding. Very little is known in the way of structure of the chapter, as they have no particular homeworld on record, making them officially a crusading chapter. However, there have been a multitude of records of these Astartes engagements, as interestingly their fleets arrive when an Imperial crusade is collapsing or when Imperial hive worlds are under siege. This leads some to speculate them to be a successor chapter of the Salamanders due to the selfless nature in defending Imperial lives. However, upon examination of some of their fallen, there were no visible mutations in their gene seed, commonly seen within the sons of Vulcan. Afterwards, upon questioning an apothecary of the chapter as he collected the gene seed of the fallen, he only responded with the words "Pulvis et umbra sumus," meaning "we are but dust and shadow," in High Gothic. The Ghost Crusaders have been believed to have first appeared in M36 during the Age of Apostasy, where they were discovered by High Confessor Karl Crassus, a member of the ecclesiarchy loyal to Gogo Vandaia, upon the shrine world of Lilith Genaris, where a stream of rebellions orchestrated by Crassus in an attempt to enforce the rule of Vandaia was suddenly and violently vanquished before forces loyal to the High Confessor would arrive in time. Even though the High Confessor preached it was due to the judgment of Gogo Vandaia, rumors began to spread amongst the citizenry of large men in pale power armor appearing suddenly as attacks by the sponsored rebel groups were beginning, but were quietly gunned down in a flurry of thunderous bolter fire and gored upon their blades, until finally the fighting would fall silent and the mysterious Astartes would leave as quickly as they appeared. As the rumors became more and more popular, people treated them with a mixture of awe and terror, believing the Emperor having sent judges to harshly punish them. It wouldn't be until a few months later when citizens would awaken to find the chapel home of High Confessor Crassus to have been a war zone with stormtroopers most loyal to him all dead, and the High Confessor himself impaled on the perimeter fence. As 3 years later, a task force of Vandaia's Brides of the Emperor were deployed on the planet, under orders to purge the entire world, city by city, from Vandaia claiming them to have fallen into the worship of chaos after the death of one of his minions. However, as the women arrived in the Shrine World's capital of Edenis, during the night they were ambushed by the Ghost Crusaders' first company, seemingly to have hidden themselves amongst the populace, waiting for the brides to arrive. A task force of Vandaia's brides were mercilessly slaughtered down to a single woman, as Dorothea Alassus, the canoness in charge of the task force, was sent back to the Imperial Navy's vessel that had transported the brides there. As she had been purposely left alive, though stripped of her power armor and equipment, by the chapter's tech marines with the words "Qui oblivisque morita" engraved into her back, translating to "Death comes to those who forget" in High Gothic. The ship's captain would later report sighting unfinished Astartes Imperial vessels leaving the sector for destinations unknown. The Ghost Crusaders were later seen again during the uprising in Segmentum Solar against Gogo Vandaia and the Brides of the Emperor, as the coalition forces led by Sebastian Thor were approached by then chapter master Adrian Savat, as well as his personal council of the chapter's reclusiarch, chief apothecary, chief tech marine and chief librarian, as they gave their assistance to Sebastian's cause. The conflict led to the deployment of the Ghost Crusaders' 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th companies, as their Astartes cousins seemed just as confused as the allied imperial forces were as to the Astartes' origin. As upon the conclusion of the conflict, the chapter's senior council were immediately brought in for questioning by the Inquisition, with the chapter's chief apothecary personally delivering their chapter's gene seed tithe. Although records stating the chapter's possible primogenitor were mysteriously deleted by Inquisitor Dietrich Koln of the Ordo Malleus for reasons unknown. As the most substantial data that could be recovered from that day was the testimony of Chapter Master Adrian Savat, claiming that his chapter fights for repentance and redemption in the name of the Dark Seer, a moniker they give to who is strongly believed by the Inquisition to be Conrad Kurtz, Primarch of the Night Lord's Legion. evidence supported by the chapter's Reclusiarch, who confessed the dark blue fabric the Astartes wear on their power armor is their symbol of mourning over a great sin committed long ago. Despite the little information gathered of their chapter structure, it is believed that they do follow the Codex Astartes penned by Rebuti Gilliman, with some deviations. For example, the chapter has no specified scout company, as the chapter's scouts are mixed into what are believed to be 10 Space Marine companies, though some speculate there to be an 11th company. As even the chapter's 6th company only consists of assault marines and terminators, having been first sighted within Segmentum Tempestis on the agri-world of Femanis Tyon, rooting out remnants of Gogo Vandia's regime and showing a rather interesting streak of restraint, targeting administratum buildings in particular held by the Vandia fanatics and ensuring little to no civilian casualties before sending a signal to a nearby Imperial Navy patrol to come restore order to the planet. The Ghost Crusaders wouldn't be seen again until 267 M38 in the Devarin sector of Segmentum Obscurus, where they joined elements of the 67th Regiment of the Valhallan Ice Warriors and the 32nd Armoured Regiment of the Talon Desert Raiders on a crusade in reclaiming the sector from the Orc Warbus Dagger Smasher and Iswar, where the 7th and 8th companies were met with heavy losses despite being successful in eliminating the warboss and pushing most of his forces out of the sector. In 342 M38, upon the high world of Sethis Prime, the Ghost Crusaders' 5th Company engaged the Drukhari Cabal of the Venomous Fang as they attempted raiding the planet for slaves and kidnapping Cecilia Melaris, a well-known imperial noble and navigator who had been visiting the world inspecting the investments of her family's house. The Cabal was quickly wiped out, as when forces of the Ordo Xenos of the Inquisition arrived to investigate the incident, Cecilia was found amongst the survivors, sitting next to a fallen Ghost Crusader Astartes. She later explained the incident in detail to Inquisitor Jara Dalius, the lead investigator of the Sethis incident, as upon the deployment of the Deathwatch kill team, the Black Shield in the team, known as Kevius Allen, would remark upon the fallen Ghost Crusaders' bodies they found with profound sorrow. In 556 M39, upon the Forge World of Valaris, that had been nearly lost in an uprising to a company of the Wordbearers Legion, was quelled by the Ghost Crusaders' 10th Company, where the Dark Apostle, known as Brias the Prophet, would offer to have the chapter join them, as he claimed the Ghost Crusaders as being lost souls seeking false redemption. The 10th Company captain immediately refused, as he ordered the summary executions of captured cultists before driving the Wordbearers away from the planet. As a reward from the Mechanicus upon the world, the Ghost Crusaders were given extra equipment before leaving the world. In 677 M40, during a sudden surprise attack from the Eldar war host of Craft World Saim Han upon the ocean world of Janus Minus, as Eldari forces surrounded local PDF forces and the Ghost Crusaders' 8th Company, accompanied by their Reclusiarch, Tethanis Destarch, whereupon demands of surrender were made by the war host's autarch after a series of rapid hit-and-run assaults, cutting off the Astartes and PDF forces from escaping as they defended civilians within the city shelters. Instead of giving in to the Eldari's demands, Tethanis would only respond with what is considered to be the chapter's battle cry and motto, "We die unvanquished." The resulting final battle led to the war host retreating back into the webway, with the Reclusiarch taking 3 squads of the 8th Company veterans pursuing after them inside their Thunderhawks, never to be seen again. It was in 433 M41 where the first Ghost Crusaders members would be recorded serving in the Deathwatch in kill teams alongside Black Shields. 2 such teams were deployed in response to an Orc warband attempting to conquer the Forge world of Fausen, led by an Orc weirdboy known as Gorky Magan, attempting to conquer Fausen to rebuild the ancient Orc Empire. However, he would be slain in battle by a member of the Ghost Crusaders Librarius, known as Devitus. It wouldn't be until later, in 767 M41, where the Ghost Crusaders would encounter Highfleet Grendel upon the shrine world of Parias Secundus, where the entire chapter was committed in its defense, fighting alongside elements of the Order of Our Martyred Lady of the Adeptus Sororitas and the 337th Cadian Armoured Regiment of the Imperial Guard. The battle led to the near annihilation of nearly half the chapter lost in the fighting, as Imperial forces led by Wolflord Eric Morkai and the 4th Great Company of the Space Wolves as they assaulted Highfleet Grendel. This led to the destruction of the fleet's Hive ship, causing the rest of the Tyranids to retreat. The Ghost Crusaders wouldn't be sighted again until Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade upon Cadia, where once again the entire chapter was committed to the planet's defense and later evacuation, as its companies and fleet were heavily battered by the traitor legions. Despite this, as Imperial forces fled, the Ghost Crusaders assisted Imperial Guardsmen, Sororitas and Astartes allies alike in fighting off the pursuing Black Legion, before finally being rescued by the Inari. Upon later return to the Ultramarines' homeworld of Macragge and the resurrection of Rabuti Gilliman, the Ghost Crusaders accompanied the Primarch on the Terran Crusade. Later remnants of the chapter's fleet and mixed elements of the chapter's 6th and 2nd companies, led by Captains Vank and Lecitus, would assist the mysterious Astartes, known as Cypher, and his warband of Fallen in the rescue of the Ultramarines' Primarch, as well as their captured battle brothers. It is unknown as to the whereabouts of the Ghost Crusaders chapter since then, as it is believed after the chapter's return to Terra with Rabuti Gilliman. The current chapter master, Cale Nuviston, would lead his brothers in later assisting Gilliman upon the Indomitus Crusade, although no present record of any conflicts they participated in has been found. One unique trait of the Ghost Crusaders is the rather strange abundance of power scythes in place of Eviscrator chainswords that the chapter possesses within their armory, as many of the chapter's veteran assault marines were seen wielding such weaponry during the defense against Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade. One such assault marine was Sergeant Kaveth Vanek, who led his squad during 852 M41, where the chapter engaged the forces of the Fal Shia Tau Sept, attempted an invasion of Forge World Genius. This led to the Mechanicus on the Forge World sending a group of tech priests to accompany the chapter as a reward in helping maintain the Marines' equipment. It is believed that due to the unique differentiation of each separate Ghost Crusaders Astartes, that they are a crusading chapter. As to date, no suitable candidate for the possible homeworld of the chapter has been found, as the only information recovered to give a possible clue as to the chapter's training of recruits and culture is for the neophyte to recite what is known as the Litany of Redemption. Trust in the night, for it shall cloak your blade. Trust your blade, as it will cut away the scum of the galaxy. Trust the brother beside you, for he is your guide in the darkness, as you are his. In the name of the Darkseer, we shall be redeemed.